Hello, it's Diane. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a tutorial today. Oh, let me adjust this a little bit. My tripod was up. Okay, sorry about that. I'm making some Wizard of Oz journals. Someone requested one, and I happen to have been collecting Wizard of Oz stuff for quite a long time. And I had well, I'll show you all that when I get into showing you the videos when they're done. So anyway, I had a lot of stuff and I still hadn't made the journal, so I figured I might as well make it for this customer. And of course, when I got into it and started picking out what I wanted to use, I had a lot more stuff than I realized. And my daughter loves Wizard of Oz. It's her absolute favorite movie. So I told her I would make her a journal too. And I started cutting the papers, and I thought, well, what the heck, I might as well make mine while I'm at it. That's why I was collecting this stuff, because I love The Wizard of Oz. And my daughter and I have read all of the books, not just seen the movie. So anyway, I'm in the very early stages of making those books. And Annette, if you're watching, Annette is the person who ordered, and no, Danielle, it's not your mother. My sister's name is Annette, and my niece watches my videos. But anyway, Annette, if you're watching, you can see the covers here. She's going to get first pick of the books. You don't have to choose now, but I just want you to see the covers. They will be decorated and covered. You won't see these designs on them. But this one is 6.5 by 9.5, so it's the largest of them. I wanted to use a green cover for the Emerald City, but the green ones that I had were just too big. So this is... I chose yellow for the Yellow Brick Road. And like I said, these things will be covered and they will be decorated, and it will look like a Wizard of Oz journal. So 6.5 by 9.5. This one is 8.5 by 5.5. And then this one was actually a Wizard of Oz book. This is the back cover, but the front cover looks just the same. It's got neat end papers on it, and it's the smallest at 5.25 by 8.25. It's still a decent size. So Annette gets first choice, and then my daughter will get to pick, and then I'll get what's left. I will make them all wonderful, fun, Wizard of Oz filled books. So they'll all be good. This one will probably cost more to ship, because I don't think I can put it in the smaller envelope like I could these. Maybe. It depends on the thickness of the spine too, what size envelope I use. So what I wanted to show you today is these masterboards that I made. I'm trying to find new inspirations, and I was actually reading an old Somerset Studio magazine, and there was a lady that was doing art journaling type projects, and I've heard of masterboards. In fact, I've made them before, but I never thought about using them in a junk journal. So I decided to just have some fun. I pulled out some green and yellow papers for the Emerald City and the Yellow Brick Road, and also some little other sparks of color. This paper just reminded me of the flowers in Munchkinland. And what I did was I took some thin, it's still kind of wet. It's not dried all the way, but the surface is dry, but you can feel the dampness through here. I took a thin 12 by 12 cardstock in green, and I just tore papers and Mod Podged them on to the cardstock, and made just a patchwork of papers with neat colors and Wizard of Oz feel to it, I thought, fanciful. And I did fun things like this paper. I had punched these little pennant shapes out, but I glued that on and let the paper behind it show through. I punched out a few flowers, just a few, and scattered them on. This one I kind of tore along the shape of the flourish that was on the paper. This one had one of the flowers punched out, and I glued that on, and this one had some scallop punching along the edge. So I just tried to include a few fun elements, but what I'm going to do is cut these. Obviously, I can't use this whole thing in the journals. I'm going to cut them and make pockets and maybe punch elements out. I am not sure exactly. I just wanted to have the masterboards to have. So they will be inspiring, and they will be pockets, and I'm not sure what all, but you'll see if you watch the video of the completed journals. So as I'm cutting them to make my elements, I am not going to be concerned about making sure I keep all of those fun things. If I have to cut right down there, that's what I'll do. They're just patchwork to be cut up and used. So what I want to show you right now is I'm going to do just a little bit of stamping. I don't want to add too much to them, but I just wanted to have some black stamping on them. And I chose these stamps. I think they're Dina Wakley stamps, but I thought they were very Wizard of Oz-ish. And this one actually has little arrows that says this way, that way, this way, which is very Scarecrow, right? So I have to use those. And then maybe this flourish, which could be the cyclone. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a flourish. Could be the wind from the cyclone, but it's just a flourish. So I'm hoping that I don't mess up these boards by doing this, but I wanted to do it, so we're going to do it. If you have any questions about how I did this, it's pretty straightforward. I just, you know, had the papers all selected and then started tearing and gluing with the Mod Podge, and then you put the Mod Podge down first and then put the paper down and then Mod Podge over it and then go on to the next piece until you have it completed. And now it's dry. The front is dry, so I am just going to add the stamping. So that's the this way, that way stamp. And you have to be careful not to smear it because this is a non-porous surface now with the Mod Podge on it. So do not touch what you just stamped. This one, this arrow, what does it say? It says round the bend. Where do I want to stamp it? And I have to have one of these. Don't these look like things that would grow in the Munchkin's garden? I have to have those on there. I think I'll stamp that up here. And of course, after you cut your pieces, I hope I'm not smearing that. I'm touching that just like I told you not to. My arm touched it. After you cut your pieces, you can turn them whichever way you want. So this doesn't have to be this way. I could turn it that way after I cut it. You know, do whatever you want. I have a 2-inch circle punch, which I resisted buying for a long time because I have a Cricut. But how much easier is it to just get this out and punch? So I'm really enjoying this. So I have a feeling I will be punching some 2-inch circles from these boards. I'm trying to see what this one says. Oh, direction. This arrow. They have, some of them have some writing along it, and this one says direction. This block might be a little small for it, but... And of course, as I cut, some of these elements that I'm stamping will also be cut, so they probably won't be complete. Except for this way, that way, I want to try to keep that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to stamp this little funny tendril type thing here. That's cool. And let's try this flourish. I'm using, by the way, my new Stays On black ink. I go through it pretty fast because I use it so much, and I use the brown too. I think what is it, Timber Brown? I use a lot of that because it has a more vintage look. So I just got new ones because mine were getting pretty faded. So So that might be enough stamping on that one. Like I said, I don't want to add too much. And it's not like I have to create a balanced look or anything on here, because I'm just going to cut it apart. So that doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit on this. You don't have to continue watching, but I have to finish it and the camera's on, so I'm just going to keep going. And I'll keep talking. I'm anxious to actually get started again on the project. I was having fun. Sometimes it takes me a while to get going. Like, I know I had to do Wizard of Oz and I had all of this stuff. Sometimes you have too much stuff and it becomes overwhelming. And it takes me a while to get into the rhythm or the flow of whatever the journal is going to be. But once I get past that stage, when I get the first signature about done, then it's a lot easier, because I follow the pattern for the rest of the signatures, and I'm doing 3 journals, so I'll use the same type of pattern for all 3 journals. And of course there will be many, many differences because the papers are different. But it helps to not have to think about every single page. I see, oh, I did a pocket on this page, so I'm going to do a pocket on this in the next signature or the next journal, and whether it's the same kind of pocket or something a little bit different, it does make it easier to have a pattern to follow. However, I do get tired doing the same thing over and over, so all my journals are different. I did 4 Harry Potter journals before Christmas, and I tell you, I was tired of Harry Potter journals. But I loved them. I'm glad I did them. They were all gifts. Well, one was for me. The other 3 were gifts. And then my boss wanted to know what kind of journals I made, and I showed her. Those were what I had, so I showed her those before I gave them away. So she said she wanted one. And I told her I had a lot of journals, custom orders that I had to do first. And I do. I have customers. She said she wasn't in a hurry. But really, I need to take a break from Harry Potter and get refreshed, and then I'll feel like doing it again. Maybe. It'll probably be the same with Wizard of Oz when I'm done with these. Okay, so I think I'm about done. I might do another stamp or 2 on this one, but so stay tuned, and I'm not sure when I'll get these done since I'm doing 3 at the same time, but by the end of next week at least. I try to get a journal or 2 done every week, but I'm not sure if I'll make it this week. So anyway, keep watching and see what I do with these master boards and those 3 book covers that you saw. They will be transformed. Thank you for watching.